I joined the Institute as a research engineer in 1992. That was the same year that the facility was inaugurated and operational. The vision was that if we had our own test center, we could really drive and influence the automotive industry. It was very insightful, very forward-thinking, and our sponsors were strongly behind it. When we started looking at real-world data, the majority of the crashes that were seriously injuring and killing people were crashes where only a portion of the front end of the vehicle was involved. But at the same time, when you looked at federal regulation, the only crash test that they run is one where the car hits a full-width barrier. For background, the structure in the front end of a car typically has two really strong energy-absorbing rails. So when you hit a full wall, both of those rails get to apply force and absorb energy as they crush. And they're very well designed to do that. But if you're only hitting one of them, things can start to fail sort of catastrophically. So we developed a test that simulates two cars approaching each other where one crossed over the center line and hit the other. And we developed a test procedure where we can evaluate a single vehicle's performance. And so in 1995, we started testing the most popular vehicle segment in the market, which were midsize sedans. And when we ran tests, the results were dramatic. We saw some very good performers. We saw some really poor performers. One of the principles that we developed when creating the rating system was maintain the occupant space first priority. When you lose containment of the occupant compartment, it's almost all bets are off because the restraints and airbags just can't do their job. One of the goals when building the Vehicle Research Center was recognizing that we need to communicate directly to the public with our messaging. And as such, this whole center was designed with the ability to communicate. That means our crash lab had first of its type interior lighting that was second to none. This is akin to Hollywood level production. We use really good cameras to be able to make these images compelling and say, this is what's happening in these vehicles. And at the time we started doing this work, Dateline NBC had a whole consumer alerts segment that they were kicking off, and it was a very popular news program at the time. And they started covering our work. And it was really fortuitous because it got the ear of the general public.
The manufacturers don't like the public embarrassment when they have a poor performer.
It got the ear of the automakers.
Manufacturers are coming to grips with the idea that safety sells.
And it also got the ear of the federal government.
Why doesn't the government do offset testing?
We think it's an important issue, and we applaud the Insurance Institute for...
So they also knew that we are now a player in this space.
There are more safe choices than ever.
Light trucks are actually getting safer.
Consumer watchdog.
And it was bit by bit, automaker by automaker, but they began to make changes in their products to improve their results to the point where less than 10 years later, all of those same vehicles performed really, really well. Once we established that program and we saw that automakers were now responding, our job was to look at the next challenge. And we followed the same process. Let's find out what types of crashes are seriously injuring and killing people. They're T-bone crashes, intersection-style crashes, and they're made especially worse because this time period, the early 2000s, coincided with the popularity of SUVs going up. Now you've got heavier, taller ride height vehicles as potential striking vehicles. So we developed a side impact test that replicates this real-world condition. We saw a lot of vehicles rated really, really poorly. The automakers' response to these tests was fairly quick, and they beefed up the side structures of their vehicles and then began the process of integrating side airbags. That was a fantastic development. It's the most effective crashworthiness test we've ever run in terms of benefits for real-world occupants. And the best part was that time period of recognition of an issue and design changes was a lot shorter. We saw equally fast changes in roof strength, too. When we were studying rollover crashes, the fleet had a pretty diverse range of roof strength out there. So we said we can set a new boundary where we just try to bring the rest of the industry up to where those leaders already are. So that's how we developed our rollover test. Our work, in effect, raised the federal minimum roof strength to weight ratio from 1.5 all the way up to 4.
Virtually all tests we conduct with respect to roof strength now get a good rating.
That, in conjunction with electronic stability control, has really led to rollover deaths plummeting in the U.S. So it's been 30 years since we kicked off our first test program, and that gives us the ability to go back and look at our original front test, side test, roof strength, and also the small overlap tests. And since the automakers improved over time, we can track all of those ratings and the improvements. And what we found is these programs have resulted in over 48,000 people surviving their car crash. That means moms and dads who get home that night. And that's more than $500 billion of societal economic benefit as a result of just these crash test programs. All of this amazing progress and lives saved is only possible by the funding of our insurers, who continue to maintain strong support for the Institute's work and our ratings program. As we look forward to new challenges, the unwavering support of our member companies will help us expand our research, reduce risky driving behavior, and extend safety to everybody, inside and outside the vehicle. We're not done yet. There's a lot more work to do, but so far the results have been fantastic.